Special thanks, of course, to our friend and supporter, our governor, John Bell Edwards, who has continued to support all of our efforts before, during, and continuing through this ongoing pandemic. And from all of our staff and healthcare workers around Louisiana, we thank you. To our mayor, Mayor LaToya Cantrell, our fearless leader, who is always no more than a phone call away. We thank you for taking the time to come and join us today. And of course, our Congressman, Troy Carter, who has continued to advocate for any and everything for New Orleans East Hospital, including taking my calls as I complained about getting the power on. Thank you, Congressman. Secretary Fudge, on behalf of LCMC Health, our Hospital Service District A Board of Commissioners, the executive team at New Orleans East Hospital, our over 400 employees and 100 physicians, we thank you and your HUD colleagues for this investment. And as I said to you before, we think it is the best investment that HUD has made in a community hospital. This hospital brought back acute care to the New Orleans East, Lower Ninth Ward, and Gentilly community after the devastation of Hurricane Katrina. We all know that health care is essential to the revitalization of a community, and HUD partnered with us, the city, and the state to make that happen. For our over 100,000 residents, without this hospital, acute care would be 30 minutes away, and we know that that could be a matter of life and death. So when we opened this hospital in 2014, we knew that we needed to be committed not just to acute care, but to the public health needs. And we are so thankful to have been able to respond during our ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, not just to provide quality and life-saving care to those who have needed to be in the hospital, but even more importantly, helping our community to stay out of the hospital. And so we have provided over 23,000 COVID-19 tests, over 39,000 vaccines. As you guys can see right to my right, we have our mobile unit, one of two that have been riding around New Orleans. If you haven't seen these purple vans, then you haven't been out much, in providing vaccines in the community, bringing access to people right where they need it. And we are extremely proud to be the first HUD-affiliated hospital to bring these vaccinations to public housing developments across the nation. This hospital, Secretary Fudge, is a true public-private partnership. It is owned by the City of New Orleans, led by our Honorable Mayor, LaToya Cantrell. It is governed by our Orleans Parish Hospital Service District A Board of Directors, chaired by Mr. Ronnie Burns, who's here with us today. And we are managed and a proud member of the LCMC Health family of 6 hospitals, which is led by our CEO, Greg Fern, also here with us today. So as we have brought stability and good health care, extraordinary health care, back to New Orleans East, we always like to give a little something extra. And our little something extra is providing sustainable public health care from this community hospital. And so we hope to continue to work with you and the HUD team as we provide not just COVID-19 testing and vaccinations, but really look at how we then take these mobile units into our communities to tackle the social determinants of health. And how do we make sure that those underlying causes of death in New Orleans, in Louisiana, like hypertension and diabetes, are addressed right in those communities? So thank you so much for helping us to provide this extraordinary care. We look forward to our continuing partnership. We've been here, we're still here, we are going to be here for a very long time. And now we will have some remarks from our Mayor, LaToya Cantrell. After the mayor comes up, we'll hear from Governor John Bell Edwards, and then Congressman Troy Carter as he brings up Secretary Fudge. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you all so much for being here. And Congressman, I have to say thank you so much for making this day possible. We appreciate your leadership. And it is so good to have Secretary Fudge in the city of New Orleans. We welcome you with open arms. Thank you for hitting the ground this morning at Gust this afternoon. And also to our governor. Governor, thank you. You have been a real partner with me in the trenches. And in those trenches has also been our state leadership. You at the top, but our local delegation right here, in my opinion, is second to none. So when I look out and I see all there, Senator Harris and Senator Bowie and Representative Hughes, and I know that list is even longer. Thank you so much for your leadership. As Dr. Davis mentioned, and all the board here, New Orleans East Hospital, just thank you for always leaning in to move progress forward and embracing what we know, that public health touches everything in our community. And HUD is not just about housing, it's about public health because it's all wrapped up in that. I want you to know, Secretary, that the HUD investment of over $97 million into creating and bringing life and real care into the New Orleans East community, it has been extraordinary. Being able to meet our people where they are, understanding and uplifting as relates to the healthcare disparities that are real, that we don't want to cover up, we want to expose them in order to address them. And I want you to know that those resources and those investments are making a difference, and we will continue to make you proud on the ground. We're committed to that. But just as I talk about, now, and Dr. Davis touched on this, we know that this investment came 16 years ago, clearly after Hurricane Katrina. And with that, we knew that we wanted to, as a community, as a city, to build back better than we were before. And that's one of the reasons why the city of New Orleans is that bright light shining resiliency across the United States of America. And when we lost power in our city, we didn't lose it at our hospital because we had the foresight to build back better. And the resiliency really didn't matter because it, again, met our people where they are, providing the care that they need. But going a little bit further than that, and of course in the midst of the pandemic, absolutely, the city of New Orleans and with partners here, we have been leading again on the ground, making sure that our people are vaccinated and that they're cared about. We've saved lives. So now, over 80% of our population has received that first dose, and 70% are vaccinated. And we're not going to stop until we get to 100% because we matter here. But in addition to that, and being in the city of New Orleans, but New Orleans East, that is truly on the move, it's a fact now. Not only starting here with the hospital, but with HUD's help and HUD's partnership. And Marcia, my director of community development back there, is making it work. And what I mean by that is home ownership is a value to this community in New Orleans East. And we know in that home ownership is affordability. And we have been able to push forward over $9.5 million in soft seconds to get our people in homes. And clearly up to over 90% close to, we're right here in New Orleans East. That is our commitment to moving our people forward. So I want you to know, and all of you to know, that the future of the East is strong and it is long and it's vibrant. There, I'm telling you, bid wars going on right here in New Orleans East because of the investments that we're making, and we're showing our people that they matter every step of the way. And when we got that infusion from Treasury tied to HUD on Monday, because the federal government recognized that the city of New Orleans is a leader in, again, meeting our rental community where they are, making sure that they can stay in those units and afford to be there. So I just want you to know that as the mayor of the city of New Orleans, I'm representing so many people who are aligned. We're committed to doing the right thing, and we know that partnerships are essential. So you have a partnership in our city. And I just thank you for your leadership, your commitment, and dedication. And I look forward to so much more together. Thank you so much. Governor John Bell Edwards.
The mayor's fired up today. I like that passion. Thank you, Mayor. Secretary Fudge, thank you so much for being in Louisiana and on the ground. I told her it just makes a difference. Not only that she comes here for herself and that she actually meets with people, talks to people, finds out what their needs are, what their anxieties are, and so forth, but she sees the damage. And so we thank you for being here. Congressman, thank you for your work in Washington on behalf of your district and really all of the state of Louisiana. And then Mayor, thank you for your passion that you bring to bear in everything that you do. Just real quick, I want to say that we have tremendous unmet housing needs in Louisiana. You know, Ida was an awful storm. It tied with the strongest two previous storms to ever make landfall in Louisiana. But one of those was just last year, Hurricane Delta in west Louisiana, where we've demonstrated about $1.5 billion of unmet need on housing alone. We don't know exactly what the need is going to be with Ida. We know it's going to be more than that. We were estimating 600,000 FEMA claims. There's already been 650. We think we're on the way to over 800,000 claims. And so being able to work with you and with the administration, and I've already had good conversations with President Biden, with OMB and others, but with the delegation and the leadership in Congress to meet those needs with the disaster supplemental appropriation is just going to be so important to our state. And we look forward to you working with you, Secretary Fudge, so that we can build back better. Because just like this hospital was destroyed in Hurricane Katrina, we've got hospitals in Terrebonne Parish and in St. Charles Parish that were destroyed by Hurricane Ida, and they're publicly owned hospitals, and we look forward to building them back better so that the next storm that hits, it's going to be positioned much like this one. It's going to be more resilient. And that's my commitment, is we're not just going to build back to the standard of what we had. We're going to do better so that the people are better served by that. And speaking of people being better served, the healthcare infrastructure in the state of Louisiana has been extremely taxed throughout the COVID pandemic. But then you add last year's storms and this year's storms, and it has just been a very trying time. So I want to thank you, Greg Fern, for all the work that you and all the people at Children's do. But we've got to shore up our healthcare facilities as well. Critically important as we fight this pandemic. And while the city of New Orleans is doing better than the state as a whole with respect to vaccinations, I will tell you we have a long way to go. If you look at the percentage of people who are vaccinated who are over 12 years old, it's 52%. So 52% of those people that could be vaccinated are. We have to do better than that. And quite frankly, we had the fourth surge precisely because we had a Delta variant that was more transmissible that hit us when we had too few people who were vaccinated. But this idea that the fourth surge, the Delta surge, was the last one, how do you know that? There might be another one that starts next week, and so long as we have too few people vaccinated, we remain vulnerable to another surge. And we lost 29 people because of Hurricane Ida. Since Hurricane Ida hit, we've lost 1,059 to COVID. I want everybody to put that into perspective. And just like most deaths after Hurricane Ida were preventable because they were things like carbon monoxide poisoning from generators and people driving into water and so forth, now that we have vaccines that are safe and effective, free and convenient, these deaths are preventable too. 88% of our cases today, 88% of our hospitalizations are among the unvaccinated, and 85% of our deaths. So let's all do better. And the last thing I want to say about that is you have some people out there who continue to say, well, I think I'm more concerned about the vaccine than I am about the disease. You need to reevaluate that. Just in Louisiana, think about the numbers I just said with the deaths of COVID just since Ida hit. In Louisiana now, we've had 2.3 million people receive a total of 4.4 million shots, and there have been exactly 9 severe adverse reactions, none of which resulted in death. How can you be more afraid of the vaccine that protects you against the disease than you are of the disease that is killing so many of our brothers and sisters? I want to thank Dr. Davis for her work here, and especially for being a leader when it comes to getting out in the community and helping us to wage war against this pandemic through testing and now through vaccinations. Let's all resolve to do better. We're not where we need to be as a country. We're certainly not where we need to be as a state. But you know what? Today is a new day. And it doesn't matter why you woke up this morning and you weren't vaccinated. You have an opportunity to do it today. And if you don't get to it today, do it tomorrow. Because we can always change our mind and do what is right, not just for ourselves, but for our family and for our neighbors and for our community. And that is what Secretary Fudge is here about, is making sure that our communities are going to be stronger than ever as we recover from Hurricane Ida and as we move forward from this pandemic. So thank you very much, Madam Secretary. Congressman, the podium is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. What a great day. What a great day for Louisiana, a great day for New Orleans, and a great day for Eastern New Orleans. To our mayor, she spouted some statistics that are quite impressive. It's because of her tough decisions that we saved so many lives. It's because she didn't care about the criticism of doing what's right in the face of people who challenged it because they wanted to party, maybe. Madam Mayor, we thank you for your leadership. We thank you for standing up and protecting our lives and making decisions that aren't always popular, but have certainly proven to be correct. God bless you, ma'am. Governor, thank you so much for your steadfast leadership throughout the state. Everything from expanding Medicare so people could have access to health care in Louisiana, to battling through every storm that we've had from the day you took office till present. Your leadership has made a difference, and we greatly appreciate it. LCMC has been a great partner for us in the community with various COVID vaccination sites that we've done, the wonderful facilities that you operate in. And Dr. Davis, for your steadfast leadership, the incredible leadership that you provide day in and day out in. And she's not shy about picking up the phone. And I jump when she calls. And it's important to have a good team. And for our state legislators who are here, who step up every time, and we've been in multiple meetings fighting for everything that's good and pure for Louisiana. And while we may have our times that we may differ on process, we never differ on outcome. And that is to make sure that we fight for and bring resources to our communities throughout the state of Louisiana. We've been fortunate to have the president now visit us twice. We've had HHA Secretary Becerra to visit. We've had the FEMA administrator to visit. We have our senior advisor and former congressman that has been an invaluable partner in the White House to stitch it together, to be that person to answer the call at 3 a.m. to say, Sam, we need this, we need that, can you help? We're very fortunate to have a great team. I had the opportunity to speak with Speaker Pelosi shortly after the storm and ask her if she would assemble a delegation of bipartisan members to visit Louisiana to see firsthand the devastation. So we wouldn't be talking about widgets. We're talking about people. We're talking about lives. We're talking about communities. And when the president says build back, and he says build back better, he means it. And we mean it. And I'm so honored that when I called our secretary and asked her to come to Louisiana, it wasn't if, it was a when. It wasn't a where, it was I'm coming, and we're going to bring resources. She stepped up as she has in her complete life of service. In her beginnings in local government, she understands, Madam Mayor, being on the front line. She understands, Governor, taking those calls, and she mentioned earlier being in her yard and people coming up to want to talk about issues, and you think you'd have just a few minutes to prune your trees. But you know, we don't get that. And she's never run away from a fight. She's never run away from serving. And as a former member of the Congress and now Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, we are so blessed, so honored to have an incredible leader who's not just a leader academically, although our academics and her experience is second to none. Her passion, her empathy, her true concern and desire to deliver resources is something that we are all blessed to have in a partnership. Please join me in giving a round of applause, a New Orleans round of applause, welcoming our Secretary, Secretary Marcia Fudge, Secretary of Housing and Urban Development.
Good afternoon. See, I was going to say, Mayor, you know, I was going to tell them that Javier's been here and FEMA people, but just tell them that they saved the best for last. Because I'm not playing when I come someplace. Thank you all so much for allowing me some time with you today. I'm going to apologize in advance because my staff is saying that if I talk too long, I will not catch my plane. And so I'm going to be brief, and as soon as I finish, I am headed to the car, so please forgive me. Madam President and CEO, thank you so much for having me. Governor, always, thank you for your friendship and all you do for this state. You have done great work, and I appreciate it. Mayor, my friend, I actually met the mayor within a week or so after she was elected, and I'm so very pleased with her leadership. And I think sometimes people forget that it is also lonely at the top, not just at the bottom. It is hard to make decisions for people because you never get it right for everybody. But I am confident that she is doing what is best for New Orleans, and I'm on your side always, Mayor. You know, there are defining moments in all of our lives. I grew up fairly poor, but we had a house. We had a place to call home, a place where you could go and nobody ever questioned who you were. I do this job because I want every single person in America to have that same experience, to know there's a safe place they can go, a safe place where people believe that you can be what you want to be, a place where all of us can thrive, a foundation. I was on my way here and realized how many children you don't have in school today because of the storm. What happens when you don't have broadband at your house and your children can't learn virtually? What happens if you don't have a house? That's why I'm here today, because of defining moments in my life. I'm standing in front of a place that was defined by Katrina. It was a defining moment for this community. Then there was Ida, another defining moment. But they are moments who make us strong. You know, the old people used to say, what don't kill you make you strong. And I know that we are stronger every time we survive one of these kinds of storms. But I'm just here to say to you today that I work for a president who does understand your problems and understands your need and has directed me to be sure that I could come and talk to you about what we can do for you. But also to say to you that it has to be done in a way that everybody benefits. There must be equity. We have to look at all of the things that we have not done for communities of color, for poor communities, what we have not done in terms of low income and moderate income housing. But I just want you to know it's a new day at HUD. It is a new day for us to do what we do. We have ensured throughout this process that not one person that lives in a HUD property or has a Section 8 voucher or some other voucher can be evicted from their home. We have made sure that if you have an FHA mortgage, you cannot be foreclosed on during this time. We're saying to people, you know what, it's not only time to keep you safe, it's time to let you grow and to spread your wings. So we're going to make it easier for you to buy a home. We're getting ready to give down payment assistance for homes for first-time home buyers. We're looking at all of the things in HUD that have, to this point, made it more difficult for Black and brown and poor people to get a home. So not only are we doing down payment assistance, we are neutralizing student debt. Who has student debt? Black, brown, and poor people. So they would weight student debt so heavily you could not qualify to buy a home. We're changing that. We're changing that student debt thing. We're looking at how houses are appraised. The president has put me in charge of a committee that's going to look at discrimination in the appraisal process. My house should not be valued less because of the color of my skin. So we're changing that. We are doing so many things for people. And I feel so good about it because, you know, my staff laughs at me. I wake up in the middle of the night and just come up with crazy ideas and I say, can we do this? And they'll say, we can do that. I think they just said because they don't want me to think of nothing else. But what I need for you to understand is that I'm here because I care. I'm not here because I have to be here. I'm here because I care about the people who live here. I love all people. I especially love my own. And I'm going to be sure that we get our share. I'm going to be sure that when they say build back better, they mean it. So Governor, who is my friend, he and I have had a good conversation today about what we're going to do when we send a whole lot more money here. Mayor, who is my friend, she's going to make sure that she gets her fair share, and I'm going to make sure that she does. And if I have to come back to Louisiana and y'all not taking care of my people, it ain't going to be pretty. I want to thank you all for allowing me to be a part of today. I met with some senior citizens who have some needs that I'm going to try to work on. I mean, they survived the storm, but they're hungry. And we need to feed them. And so I got in the car. I think I was so upset about it. I got in the car. I said, call the Secretary of Agriculture right now. I mean that. We are going to take care of people in need. So I want to be your partner. I want to be a friend. This hospital is a lifesaver. Not only do you take your van to public housing locations, give shots, give tests, we need all the help we can get, but we're going to give you all the help we have. Thank you all so much. I forgot to say this. Troy Carter gave me so many directions that I'm about sick of him. But I love him to death. You know, he cares so much, and I can't thank you enough for inviting me today. It's been a great day. And I'm going to not take your call next week, but after that, I'll take your call.
Secretary Marcia.